The crypto market is heating up.
It's heating up fast.
It's heating up.
And everyone is looking to rake in the gains. But what many don't realize is that even though everything is about to go parabolic, there will be more people losing money than making it. And this begs the question of how you can be one of this cycle's winners. And a recent report could actually have the answers. So today we'll break down this report for you in simple terms and tell you how you can position yourself for success. Let's dig in. Now, the report we'll be summarizing for you today is titled, quote, the Crypto Competence Index 2024, and it was co-authored by Coinfessions and Pip World. We'll leave a link to the full report in the description below, but we'll be summarizing the main highlights for you right here today, and of course, giving you some of our commentary around it. In case you're not familiar with either Coinfessions or Pip World, allow us to explain. As the name suggests, Coinfessions is a place where crypto users can go to get things off their chests, anonymously, of course. Their X account is honestly one of our favorites to follow. It's good to get a reality check every once in a while, especially as everything starts to heat up. We'll leave a link to Coinfessions in the description below. It's well worth your time. Meanwhile, Pip World describes itself as, quote, a gamified approach to financial freedom. Basically, it's a platform designed to teach you everything about crypto finance in an exciting way. There's a few games to help you learn, including a Telegram game and even an in-game experience on Roblox. Pretty cool, right? So now that you're up to speed, let's jump in. The first part of the report starts with a statement, and we'll be honest with you guys, it's a bitter pill to swallow. The authors say that, quote, the crypto community lags the global average in making informed financial decisions. Oof. Stings a bit, right? I mean, who knew YOLO didn't count as an educated bet? Jokes aside, the report backs this up with some statistics based on the financial literacy of different regions. Now, for context, the authors explain that financial literacy refers to an investor's understanding of stuff like budgeting, saving, balancing debt, and making those smarter investment decisions. Anywho, when it comes to the crypto market, just 25% of us are financially literate on average, while a whopping 75% of us either have very little financial literacy or none at all. According to the report, when you compare this average with the financial literacy of an entire region, that is, crypto and beyond, it's about half that of the US, where 50% of adults are financially literate. It's also less than the global average, where 33% of adults are financially literate. And for anyone possibly wondering, the most financially literate region is Denmark, Norway, and Sweden, with a collective score of 71%, while countries like Somalia, Afghanistan, and Yemen have the lowest financial literacy, each scoring 15% or lower. In fact, these are the only 3 countries scoring lower than the entire crypto community. This is something you should find worrying, because being less savvy about your investments in an industry that's known for its risk and volatility is a surefire way to get wrecked. Put differently, if you want to succeed, you need to stay educated. Luckily for you, you're already ahead of the game just by watching this channel. And that's because we offer the highest quality crypto content around, helping you to be educated on just about any crypto-related topic. So if you want to make sure you're not being left behind, subscribe to the channel and ping that notification bell so you don't miss our next one. Oh, and give that like button a good thump too while you're at it.
The Coin Bureau deals page. It won't make you stronger, but it will make you better at crypto.
Now, this ties into the next part of the report, which breaks down the financial literacy of different types of crypto investors. What immediately stands out is that, according to the report, the only group to be 100% financially literate is FOMO traders. This surely has to be a mistake. I mean, it's well known that if you're aping in due to FOMO, you're probably too late. Even worse, you could be the one left holding the bag. Oddities aside, the second highest group is crypto whales, and 96% of whom are financially literate. I mean, this kind of makes sense. It's probably safe to assume that this is how most of them became whales in the first place. Then there are the trend followers with 88%, which makes perfect sense. After all, these are the folks who will have their fingers on the pulse, so to speak. And then there's the hodlers, of whom an impressive 80% are financially literate. Let that be a lesson to all you paper hands out there. Elsewhere, speculators are apparently 64% financially literate. Volatility seekers are 50% financially literate. And shockingly, pump and dumpers are noted as 45% financially literate. We're surprised they scored this high, to be honest, given that most of these will be outright scammers. The silver lining is that they're also the second lowest of any segment. Anyway, the report's authors explain that, quote, worryingly, day traders have the lowest financial literacy at 27%. This might sound bizarre, but it actually makes sense when you consider that day trading is a much harder task than you might think. For many, it's often a full-time job, something that many inexperienced traders underestimate. But if you'd rather take a more hands-on approach, you can learn how to become a better trader by checking out our Coin Bureau trading channel. It's run by Aaron, aka Moonin Papa, Mariano, aka the Trading Parrot, and Dan, our very own head of research. So you'll be in safe hands with these three chaps who could help you maximize your gains. The link is down in the description. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe while you're down there too. And this ties into the next part of the report titled Stressed but Staying for the Ride, which is probably the perfect description for anyone who's stuck with crypto over the past few years. This part of the report highlights some of the pressures felt by the crypto community. The authors explain that around 70% of people offloading to Coinfessions have expressed impulsive behaviors, resulting in heavy losses. Come to think of it, this completely contradicts the previous section, where FOMO investors were labeled as 100% financially literate. In any case, the authors note that, quote, around 76% of Coinfessions expressed regret, frustration, or underlying stress. What's strange is that the report gives a few examples of anonymous posts to Coinfessions, and although they all outline taking on high levels of risk, only one of the examples shows a person getting wrecked. These examples include gambling a med school loan into Ethereum validators and using a bank loan to ape into a private sale. This is a tad concerning because you could easily interpret this as encouraging you to expose yourself to similar risks. If you've been keeping up with this channel for a while, you'll know we don't encourage anybody to trade with leverage, and we certainly don't recommend you taking out loans to ape into crypto. It just isn't worth it, folks. I mean, not financial advice, but yes. Okay, the next part of the report explains that, quote, high financial literacy is a key driver of significant wins in the crypto market. And this is worth keeping in mind because the chart provided shows that there are far fewer wins than there are losses. There are a few things we can take away here, and the biggest by far is that volatility seekers will lose 97% of the time. So next time you check CoinMarketCap and see that a coin or token has suddenly rallied by several X's in a day, keep that in mind before you try to jump on board. And we'll also add that FOMO traders lose 85% of the time. Food for thought. Whales typically have most success here, winning 41% of the time and losing 59% of the time. As we said earlier, this makes sense when you consider just why they're whales in the first place. There's a reason people call this so-called smart money. Aside from whales, there are three other groups that seem to do better than most. These are crypto communities, which win 30% of the time, the hodlers that win 34% of the time, and the trend followers that win 40% of the time. Not very promising, but it's important to remember the kinds of people who were surveyed for this report. In any case, we reckon trend followers and hodlers go hand in hand. And that's because a crypto community, that is one that isn't full of toxic moon boys, will be on hand to help each other find the next trend and will find high conviction plays to hodl for the long term. Now, the next section explains that when it comes to major cryptos and meme coins, there's more FUD than there is anti-FUD. I mean, surely there's got to be a better terminology for that. Anywho, the chart provided by the authors shows different coin mentions by sentiment. The authors don't really explain what's going on here, which makes the chart kinda confusing, to be honest. I mean, Bitcoin apparently has 140% of mentions, which literally doesn't make any sense. Meanwhile, crypto is mentioned just 20% of the time. Oddities aside, what we can take away from this chart is that it was drafted in October this year, before BTC went on an absolute tear. And this would explain why there seems to be more negative sentiment than positive. We imagine this would have shifted somewhat since. Meanwhile, Solana has roughly the same amount of positive and negative sentiment around it, whereas Ethereum is slightly more negative than positive. And if you're feeling the Ethereum FUD, we encourage you to check out our recent video on the bull case for Ethereum. That will be in the description, of course. Anyway, according to this chart, nobody is feeling anything positive about FTX, and we reckon we don't need to explain why. But there's just one crypto coin with 100% negative sentiment, and that's USDT. Look guys, we gotta move past this Tether FUD at some point. I mean, are we seriously putting it in the same level as FTX? If you're someone feeling the Tether FUD, feel free to check out the description for an interview we did with Tether's CEO, Paolo Arduino, to learn why this FUD is unnecessary. Now, the final section of the report is titled, quote, "Resilient and Hopeful About Crypto's Potential." The authors explain that despite lots of people leaving the space, 40% of crypto traders are content with what they've achieved and have no plans to leave. Respect. Based on various posts on CoinFessions, the authors were able to determine that some categories of crypto investors are more reflective than others. The most reflective of these are hodlers at 32%. Volatility seekers and speculators each come in as 19% reflective, while FOMO traders are 16% reflective. I suppose when there's less thought going into a trade, there's also less thought about it once it's done. The authors add that, quote, "This resilience reflects the hope and belief in crypto's potential, even in the face of setbacks, and suggest a long-term commitment among traders." We reckon this is bang on, especially for those of you who have been with us for a while. It may be tough sometimes, but you only need to take a look at the market conditions today to see that the gain was worth the pain. And finally, the report ends with some closing thoughts. The standout that we need to highlight comes from Saad Najjar, the CEO of Reputable. According to Saad, quote, "The findings of this report highlight an urgent and undeniable truth. Financial literacy in the crypto space is dangerously low. In a rapidly evolving market, too many traders are navigating blind, without the fundamental knowledge needed to succeed." Naturally then, this begs the obvious question. How can you make sure you're one of the successful ones? Well, let's answer this with a quick thought experiment. Let's say you have $100. You ape blindly into a meme coin that just launched and it gains rapid momentum. And before you know it, you've managed to turn the $100 into $10,000, a 100x return. It's a great result, right? But could you do it consistently, turning this into a legitimate strategy? If you said yes, go stand in the corner and have a word with yourself. If you're willing to go all in on crypto projects without learning a thing about their fundamentals, you're all but guaranteed to watch in horror as your portfolio eventually goes to zero. So if it wasn't already obvious, the first thing you need to do is realize that education is key. As we touched on earlier, you can find the best quality crypto education here on this channel. We also have our second channel, More Coin Bureau, and our Coin Bureau trading channel as well, of course. And you can even check out the Coin Bureau website, where you'll find written articles by some of the smartest people in crypto. You'll find links to these resources and everything else we have to offer down in the description. The second key to success is just as obvious. Have a plan and stick with it. And this includes plans for everything from finding which cryptos to buy, how much you're willing to invest, and even when to take profits. Of course, everybody's plan will be different, as everyone will have a different risk tolerance. But sticking to your own plans means you don't make any rash decisions that will damage your overall success. This ties into the third key to success, which is to avoid unnecessarily trading wherever possible. As the report has clearly shown, day traders typically have the least amount of success, and we'll bet that out of every other category, day traders are also the most stressed. Unless you're an experienced trader and are able to leave your emotions at the door, so to speak, you'll probably end up either overtrading or repeatedly trying to catch short-term pumps. Newsflash, neither of these are profitable. Instead, you're better off doing your research and finding those projects with genuine potential. And once you find one that fits with your conviction, all you need to do is hodl until you hit whatever targets you set. You'd be surprised how much more successful you can be during volatile periods by simply doing nothing. And that's all for today's video, folks. If you enjoyed it, give it a boost by smashing those like and subscribe buttons. It really helps us out. And be sure to turn on those notifications as well so you don't miss our next upload. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Nick, over and out.